Your boss calls you into their office. Do you think you're getting a raise? Maybe you're getting laid off. Maybe you're just getting a new project. What is it that you think first? Your spouse or your best friend says, "We need to talk." Do you think it means that there's a surprise celebration in store for you? Or maybe you're worried that you forgot to take out the garbage or do the dishes or something. You must be in trouble for something that you're not really sure what. A friend of mine who was new at being a boss once described the instant alarm that a direct report had to an offhanded comment that he made. He later said to me, "I forget that people are afraid of me." He would forget that an offhanded comment when he's just making conversation might be taken differently by someone who reports to him and maybe doesn't know him very well. Someone unexpected shows up. Something unexpected happens. How do we respond in our mind and in our bodies? Is it fear and trepidation at the uncertainty or excited anticipation? Will it be good? Will it be bad? Today we hear stories that turn on that uncertainty. First, we hear this rather wild tale from 2 Kings. This passage is part of a trial that we began last Sunday of a different set of assigned readings for the Easter season. Normally in Easter, we hear from the book of Acts instead of from the Old Testament. But the International Ecumenical Organization Consultation on Common Texts has produced an alternative set of Old Testament readings for Easter, and we here at St. George's are trialing them this year. The story we hear today from 2 Kings is, I think, kind of a wild one and likely unfamiliar to many of us. A little backstory. The city of Samaria was under siege by the Arameans. Ancient cities were walled for protection against attack with only kind of limited entry and exit points through city gates. So one strategy of warfare was to surround a city or otherwise not allow supplies to get in. In our present story, just leading up to the passage we heard today, the story says that as the siege in the city continued, famine was growing. With limited food, what was available was being sold for exorbitant prices. Today, one of the earliest Hebrew prophets, Elisha, shares the good news that prices would come down radically the very next day. Then the scene shifts to 4 diseased men who are living just outside of the city gate and who really don't have any good options. All possibilities, all roads seem to lead to death. Starvation was inevitable. So they decide instead to risk being killed by the Arameans by going to their camp. And the men unexpectedly find the camp deserted of people, with the Arameans having quickly fled, leaving all their supplies behind. So the men begin to plunder, eating and drinking and taking valuable goods, until their consciences are piqued and they decide to go back and do the right thing. They return to the city and tell the officials of the good fortune. The king only half believes them. Sounds too good to be true. It must be a trick. It must be bad. A ploy to sort of finish them off and take the city. One servant, however, has just enough doubt, or maybe just enough certainty that they would die of hunger if nothing changed, so might as well risk it. We're gonna die anyway. So we'll send a small reconnaissance team to find out for sure. Find out what's what. And wouldn't you know, the Arameans really had left, littering their path with belongings as they fled in haste. The people of God are saved. Food prices come down so everyone can eat. It is a story of God's miraculous grace and love. Not a trick, not people getting what they deserve, no big final military battle. In the face of certain death, the people receive unexpected life, the grace and love of God's salvation. Which brings us to our gospel story. The evening of Easter Day, the day of Jesus' resurrections, the disciples know that the tomb is empty, and that's about all they know. They're afraid, uncertain about what might happen next. Given what has already happened, the betrayal and suffering, death, darkness, despair, emptiness, whatever is going on, whatever's going to happen next, it'll probably be bad. They just lock the door and hide away. Then Jesus shows up, just like that. It's like getting caught watching TV with your buddies when you're supposed to be cleaning your room. Or your boss walks in and when you're all just like shooting the breeze around the proverbial water cooler. Or, you fill in the blank. We've all been there. Jesus too, it seems, has been there. Jesus knows. So when Jesus shows up, he immediately reassures everybody, peace be with you. He might as well have said, it's okay, you're not in trouble. Just like you want your spouse or your parent or your priest or your bishop to say in the breath after, we need to talk. You're not in trouble. Of course, one was missing that night, and Thomas, quite sensibly, does not believe the story. It's too good to be true. It must be a trick, must be bad, a ploy to, something probably scary. So the following week, Jesus repeats his performance, shows up and reassures, you're not in trouble. It's a story of God's miraculous grace and love. Not a trick, not people getting what they deserve, no big battle. In the face of certain death, the disciples receive unexpected life, the grace and love of God's salvation. Just like that. All because of God. It's the way God has always been. It's we who just doubt over and over and over. And maybe that's okay because it just gives God more chances to show up and to show us miraculous grace and love. But oh, how our lives might be just a little easier with just a little less drama if we could see our way clear to doubt our expectations of judgment and of trouble and find a little trust instead. What if we could be like the servant who's willing to risk life and limb for the hope that the good news, the miracle, might just be true? What if we risked trust in the face of uncertainty? How might our lives be different if we chose to believe in grace, even just a little, and let that guide our behavior and response, that we might have life in the name of God in Christ?